I sacrificed it all for my wife's success, and she rewarded me with heartbreak and an STD. My wife, 37F, and I, 40M, met about 14 years ago and have been married for around 10. We have 2 wonderful kids, 6 and 4 years old. Despite all the years together, she remains the most beautiful and intelligent woman I've ever known. She's been my reason to live since we got married. Although we faced some hardships, we were once very happy. A few years into our marriage, we bought a house that we both loved, even though it was far from the city center. Life was good until my wife became seriously depressed after giving birth to our second child. To help her, we sold our house because my long commute made it hard for me to assist at home, and she wanted to go back to work. We rented an apartment closer to the city, just 15 minutes from my workplace, but the rent was 3 times more than our previous mortgage payments. Financially, it was a huge burden since we depended solely on my salary, but I wanted to be there for her. Then, just 3 months after moving in, COVID hit, and we were stuck at home for a long time. My company implemented work-from-home policies, which made our move seem pointless. Her depression worsened. She tried different ways to earn money from home, like selling items online, blogging and trading, but none of them worked. She also enrolled in courses but didn't complete them. She felt guilty for not contributing financially. I supported her and told her not to worry about money, that I'd take care of us until she found something she liked. When COVID restrictions eased a bit, she enrolled in a business seminar that happens every few months, either locally or abroad. The content of the seminar is questionable. I've listened to recordings where the speaker offers basic truths like, if you keep doing the same things, you'll get the same results, but also promotes things like having affairs and living a selfish lifestyle. My wife admitted the content was garbage, but insisted on attending to make business connections with financially successful people. She also loves traveling, which is probably the real reason she enjoys going, especially when it's abroad. On the bright side, after her first seminar abroad, she came back motivated to start a new business. On the downside, she brought COVID back with her. We all got sick, and while our kids were burning with fever, she talked about wanting to go abroad for the next seminar. I snapped, and we argued, but it didn't stop her. That year, she went to 4 seminars abroad, leaving me to juggle work, house chores and childcare for about 2 weeks each time. Our kids missed her terribly, often crying and asking why mom wasn't home. Her parents helped sometimes, but it was still tough. They also disapproved of her behavior, telling me she was being selfish and that she didn't used to be like this. She promised it was just for that year since she'd already paid over $5,000 for the seminar's yearly membership. The following year she didn't go, but I could tell she was constantly irritated. Despite everything, after receiving financial support from me and her parents, she focused on her business. After some struggles, her business took off, and she's no longer depressed. She also started contributing to our finances this year. Earlier this year, she mentioned wanting to re-enroll in the seminar. The thought of it brought back all the tough memories from last time. We argued, but she enrolled anyway, promising to only attend local ones, which would take 2 or 3 days. Nonetheless, our relationship has been strained ever since. Even worse, she broke that promise and is currently abroad at another seminar. Although she arranged childcare this time, it's still been tough on me and the kids. Recently, she told me she feels controlled by me and the kids and sometimes wishes she could leave and live alone. She loves traveling, and the seminar after-parties are fun. She feels that we're holding her back from living the life she wants. She even said there are so many things she'd like to do but doesn't because of me and the kids. Just to clarify, other than these seminars, I've never stopped her from doing what she wants. Honestly, I don't even mind her going abroad. I know how much she loves traveling. I'd be happy to take care of the house and kids or even go with her. But it's mentally exhausting to single parent for days while she listens to this so-called financial guru. I've been seriously depressed for months because of this. Despite everything, I still love her, but I feel our marriage is falling apart. Thoughts of ending things have crossed my mind, but I think about our kids and try to stay strong for them. Honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. 2 weeks ago, I discovered my wife has been cheating on me with multiple partners for the past 2 years. I'm in shock and need advice. My wife and I recently celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary, and we have 2 wonderful kids. But since the beginning of this year, things have felt off. She's been acting irritable, avoiding me, and we haven't been intimate much. Some days she's happy, and other days she's completely irritated. Sometimes she's a great mother, and other times she wishes the kids had never been born. Recently, I had to go to the urologist for a UTI, and the test suggested it might be an STD. This was a massive shock because I've never been with anyone other than my wife since we started dating. Right now, she's away at another so-called business seminar. Out of desperation, I read her diaries for the first time ever, and that's how I found out she's been unfaithful for 2 years. I'm devastated and don't know what to do. It turns out she's been having multiple affairs over the past 2 years. One in particular lasted over a year, and part of her irritability seems to be because her lover moved on to someone else. I also discovered she has a hidden Tinder account and has been regularly meeting other men. I am devastated beyond words. I feel lost and unsure of what to do, especially since we have 2 little kids who mean the world to me. I need advice on how to handle this situation. Should I confront her immediately? Should I consult a lawyer first? How do I even begin to process this betrayal and protect my kids through all of this? Thank you for any guidance you can offer during this incredibly difficult time. Second update, 1 month, 1 week later. Thank you all for your invaluable advice and support. It has been a tremendous help during this tough time. After my last post, my in-laws kindly offered to look after the kids while my wife was away at her seminar. They remain unaware of the turmoil I've been going through. During this time, I went through her diaries and took pictures of their contents. Each entry felt like a stab in the back, leaving me in shock and disbelief. I no longer recognized the person I thought I knew and loved for over a decade. Without going into too much detail, the revelations in her diaries are worse than anything I've seen in a movie or TV series. She's been involved with at least 6 different men over the past 2 years, with these affairs taking place not only during her seminars, but also on business trips, dinners, and other supposed work events. Meanwhile, I was at home taking care of the kids, naively believing I was supporting her career. Some entries vividly describe how much she enjoyed these encounters, while also thanking me for being such a devoted husband and father, without the slightest trace of guilt. The complete lack of remorse and the depth of her deception make me question her emotional and mental state. While reading her diaries, I felt overwhelmed with despair and seriously contemplated ending it all. In the end, I sought refuge with friends for a few days, as I felt I couldn't be alone. Otherwise, I might have done something irreversible. My friends supported me through this time and helped me get in contact with a therapist. I'm now attending therapy sessions once a week. They also helped me reach out to divorce lawyers. I'm receiving treatment for my STD as well. Returning home after picking up the kids from my in-laws was an emotionally devastating experience. I couldn't bring myself to smile at all. At one point, while thinking about ending it all, my daughter saw the sadness in my face. Without saying a word, she came over and wrapped her arms around me. In that moment, I broke down, held her tightly, and cried. She's my sweet angel, and the shame of having considered leaving my kids to suffer under their mother's disdain was almost unbearable. For the first few weeks after finding out, I could barely sleep and had to rely on sleeping pills to make it through the nights. My motivation was at an all-time low, affecting both my work and home life. I forced myself to keep exercising, and it was the only thing that made me feel better. To whoever advised me not to give up on exercise, you may have saved my life. The stress intensified when my wife returned from her trip. It took all my energy to hide my disgust and the knowledge I had gained about her actions. She noticed something was off, but still seems to believe I'm unaware of her affairs. Her lack of shame is staggering. Recently, she asked me to buy her the expensive gift I had promised for our 10-year anniversary, which I've made excuses not to buy yet. She even planned to meet her latest partner on my birthday. Lately, I've been feeling better thanks to therapy and exercise. I'd never been to a therapist before, and now I regret not going sooner. Despite everything, part of me still felt like maybe this was my fault. Maybe if I had done things differently, she wouldn't have strayed. But my therapist helped me see that, while I could have done some things better, none of that justifies her actions. No one deserves to be betrayed like this. My biggest fault was blaming myself for everything, always putting her needs ahead of mine, and trusting her unconditionally. I forced myself to believe I was being supportive when I let her go on all those trips, thinking I was helping her career, letting her relieve stress. I thought that if I had a better job or made her happier, she wouldn't feel the need to escape from home. Now, I know that wasn't the issue. While I'm still battling depression, I feel more anger than sadness these days, and that anger is keeping me going. My therapist advised me to channel that rage into something productive, which has worked surprisingly well. I consulted with 2 law firms about my situation and was advised to gather more evidence, which I've been doing. I finished digitizing all of her diaries from the past 2 years, and I've accessed her computer, where I found photos, chats, and documents that will help my case. She's been sharing her affairs in a private Facebook group, and I've taken plenty of screenshots. I've also compiled a list of her affair partners from the diaries and tracked them down on social media. I've even found out where some of them live and work. Now, I'm debating whether or not to confront them. The things I've read in those diaries are so bizarre that I thought maybe she was just writing material for a twisted novel, until I found the real evidence on her computer. Part of me almost enjoys gathering all these pieces, cross-referencing them, and exposing her lies. A part of me wants to see her burn on social media by posting everything I've uncovered, especially since her business relies on her reputation. But I'm holding back, knowing it would affect me, the kids and her parents, who've been nothing but kind to me since we got married. I'm unsure if I should bring this to her parents' attention. It would devastate them. I'm planning to confront her after consulting further with the lawyers to ensure I can get custody of my kids. The country I live in tends to unfairly grant custody to the mother, even when she's unfit. I'll also discuss divorce and child support terms. In any case, thank you all for the advice. A few weeks ago, I was in despair and had no idea what to do. Now, bit by bit, I'm digging myself out of this hole. Sorry if I don't respond to every comment. Right now, my full attention is on protecting my kids.